tell you guys about how I became an illustrator. For those of you who don't know, the third Forever Home Friends book, Just Me, Wrigley, is the first book I've ever illustrated. In the previous two Forever Home Friends books, Princess Allie and Smile Chewy, I actually had other people illustrate those for me. There were a couple reasons for that. First, I wanted each book to have a different art style. Part of the whole mission of the Forever Home Friends is to show a diversity in different types of dogs and different stories that they have. And because of that, I wanted each dog to kind of have a different look to them, to have a different art style. Some drawings are done digitally, some are done with watercolor, some are done with acrylic, so it's all different types of art to show different types of dogs. So I spent the past year from middle of 2017 till the middle of 2018 just really working hard on improving my art. I was very inspired when I would go to events like C2E2, and I would go to different Chicago street festivals that had different artists and different people creating things and making drawings and paintings. And it would remind me of back when I was in high school and when I was in college, and I did a lot of painting then, I did a lot of drawing, I drew comics, I did all of that, but that kind of sort of fell to the side as I focused more and more on my career as a writer. So I decided, I really love doing art and drawing, and I'm going to focus on getting better for this. And then the other side of that was when I work with an illustrator, obviously I pay them a fair wage because everyone should do that. There's this whole idea that you don't need to pay artists, or that artists are willing to work for exposure. No, I do not believe in working for exposure. I don't do it, and I don't believe anyone should do it. So I always make sure to pay my illustrators. We have a negotiation and talk about their rate, and I pay them. While I was working on getting the third book out there, I didn't want to wait until I had a large sum of money set aside to pay for the next illustrator. So I thought, if I'm feeling really passionate about this and I really want to do the next book myself, why don't I just do it? I'd already written the book. I had some ideas in my mind. And I guess the event that kind of was the turning point for me in making the definite decision to illustrate was I was out of town for a couple days, and while I was gone, Chewy's babysitter was over and she was watching him, and she saw this picture of Chewy that I had painted hanging in the hallway. She said, "I really love that picture. I wonder, do you do commissions for pictures of dogs?" And that's when it hit me I can definitely illustrate one of my books if people are willing to pay me to do pictures of their dogs. So I started thinking about the art style I used when creating that picture of Chewy, which was a pop art sort of thing where I took the realistic colors of him, but then also did some neon colors for his highlights and his lowlights and that type of thing. And I thought, how could I apply that to Wrigley? And it actually turned out that that was probably the best possible style to do this book in, because the whole point of Wrigley's book is that she doesn't know where she's from. She doesn't know what breed she is. She's a little bit quirky, a little bit goofy, but she learns to accept herself for who she is. So she really shouldn't be painted to look like a photorealistic dog. She really should be, wild colors and lots of neon and lots of fun. So that's what I did when I approached Wrigley. I kind of thought back to my days in high school art class, which was when I learned a little bit about color theory and about how you can find colors that are hidden in things based on the way the light looks at it. So when I had been doing a self-portrait and I had my face as a peach, and then I shaded in with different shades of tan and brown, and I was like, why does this look so boring? My teacher said oh, well, kind of look at the photo here. This light is hitting this shadow here, and it's creating a purple tone or creating a blue here. So that's kind of what I did when I looked at pictures of Wrigley, is I said, where is she creating a different tone, and how can I emphasize that and exaggerate it to the point where she looks really fun and just really bright and colorful. Then from there, I decided that I was going to do a collage style of art for her. So I went through a few different iterations of how I drew Wrigley. I started trying to paint her in oil paintings. I quickly found out that that was not going to work for me for a few reasons. First, my office is not well ventilated. Second, I don't want to be breathing in all that turpentine, and I don't want Chewy to breathe it in either. So I actually tried using a type of lavender oil to dilute the paint instead, but the smell of that was giving me a headache, and I was worried that Chewy, if he breathed in the oil scent, that it might make him get sick. So I said, you know what, I'm just going to try acrylics instead. And then what I found from that process was that when I drew Wrigley digitally, it actually gave me the ability to do the most detail in her eyes and in her fur and in the different colors and layers of her. But when I did the backgrounds and some of the props in acrylic paint, and then I did some of the other pictures in construction paper, that kind of helped create a fun aesthetic of like a collage style work, which kind of represents Wrigley being a dog who is made up of many different parts and many different identities. I've been building up my career as a writer for a really long time, but as an illustrator and as an artist, I'm just kind of breaking into that, and that's something that's new for me. So having the confidence to show my work to other people and to hope that they'll like it, but also to hope that they'll still give me constructive criticism and realistic feedback, that's been super important along the way. So that's my advice. I know it's really simple, but if you want to, try illustrating a book, just do it. But definitely spend a lot of time working on your art first and working on improving those skills and figuring out a definitive style for what you want to do, because that was super crucial to me along the way. So I hope you guys found this video helpful, and I hope you enjoy looking at pictures of Wrigley. Be on the lookout for the book Just Me Wrigley, which is going to be releasing on August 11th, 2018. We're going to be having a launch party in Chicago, so I'll be sending out details for that. If you'd like to stay updated on what's going on, please consider subscribing to this channel, and please consider subscribing to my mailing list, which is where I send out updates. If you want to subscribe to the mailing list, you can look in the description. I have a link to my website, savvylizer.com. When you click there will be a subscribe form that comes up, and you can enter your email address there and get all the updates on what's going on. I hope that you found this video helpful. Bye!